Hey, meanwhile in Broomtown, today is one of the days that we look forward to every year. We've had transfer date on the tomatoes coming from, we showed you planting them and transferring them from the seed starter to a cup. And today we're going to move from the cup to the garden. So I picked today kind of on purpose. It's overcast. If it was really bright sun and hot, you might get some stress. And so I can't always get that lucky, but the weather has cooperated. It's overcast. So let me show you the tomatoes and we'll get them ready. Hard to believe that these little guys were seeds just a little while ago, just a few days. We'll carry those and put them on the cart. And there's some more. And we do a lot of this variety because we like them. These are we call them Belgian tomatoes. And let me get that out. We'll take them to the garden. All right, we got them loaded into the chariot. We got everything ready. Okay, as far as preparing these beds, we built these. These beds are about 6-7 years old now, but we use the cattle panels to run things on. I guess if we were better, we would not let them get in that shape for the winter, but quite honestly, it's just as easy to do it. You got to turn them anyway. So we've turned these beds. The only step that I omitted from showing you by mistake was putting the black cow. We like to supplement. Tomatoes are pretty heavy feeders, and the black cow just helps build the soil, and it's got a little bit of nitrogen in it. So that's what they look like beforehand, and I'll show you while we're planting one. This is the layout that we normally use. That bed to do 5 tomatoes. It takes fertilizer and water, and obviously, but this is kind of where we start, and we do 3 on one side and 2 on the other, so they're kind of gridded. They don't grow over each other trying to go to the top of the cattle panel. And I also sometimes I come back in this hole back here in this corner. I'll put another one, something like a Campari that grows really, really tall, kind of a vine, more of a vine than a bush tomato. And I grow them up the tops of the cattle panels. So that's kind of, I wanted to show you how we lay them out, and then let's get to planting. All right. One of the first things I like to do when we're planting tomatoes, because tomatoes, I plant them deep. I know that's your roots, but I'll plant this tomato plant about that far into the ground, and then this will all turn into roots. So the tomato will be, a foot, 13, 14 inches deep. And I just snip all these leaves off because they don't need to be underground. And that kind of strips. That's what you'll see above ground, and you won't realize there's that much underground for roots. But that's important. Tomatoes are really heavy feeders, and we found this works the best. All right, we're digging now. Cindy's gonna plant them. Dig a hole pretty deep. Like I said, we got a lot of room because we cut all those bottom leaves off. That Tums bottle, that's pretty much Tums are nothing but calcium. We had a year or two where we were having a lot of trouble with blossom end rot. I don't know if that's the scientific name for it, but the fruit would rot on on the bloom end, not the stem end. And we did a little research and found out that it's calcium deficiency. So we started putting the Tums in every hole. Just literally just take the Tums and drop it in your hole. And ever since we've been doing that, we don't have any more problems with blossom end rot. You can see the roots. There's a lot of roots. Just kind of tease it a little bit, not a lot, but and then put it down there in the hole and backfill it as high as you can backfill it. And then we'll come back and we'll secure these to the cattle panels. These little green things that you see, you can secure your plants with anything that you have handy. We have a lot of grapes, and this is actually the tape that you use to secure the grapes to the grapevines, to the trellises. So I have it, so I use it on the tomatoes also. This is the tapener that I was telling you about that we use on the grapevines, and it works good on the tomatoes. You can use anything to tie them up. We've used all kind of stuff during the years. This is just really convenient. It's good to secure. This thing just goes like that, and then around, and then boom, he's secured. And as they grow, you can see how last year I just didn't take all those off, but same kind of deal. They pull out. That way, if we get a lot of wind or we get a really heavy rain, the tomatoes don't get jammed into the dirt and ruined. So these work good. And that's it. Just real quick, before we put this one in, I wanted to show you, it already had a bloom on it. I kind of like to put them out before they get to that stage, but sometimes you're just a slave to the weather. I didn't want to put them out in the middle of a thunderstorm, and if I'd have planted them last week, we got a frost as late as this is. So this is the time that we had to plant them. But I wanted to show you the bloom. They're already got a little bloom. Another thing to notice is these the cups. I know we've talked about them before, but they're perfectly fine for another year. In fact, it's probably their fourth or fifth year being used. So I save them, and next year I'll use them again to plant them. Also, this is probably the non-OSHA approved method of doing this, but the farm managers turn in the beds deep before we plant the tomatoes in this bed. You have to deal with your limitations, and both of us do that now that we're not really young anymore. So get a little leverage and you can turn it deep, and that's what we do. Now that we have those Belgians planted, you can see those down there. We have this new variety we tried. We've never tried it before. Like I said on another video where I was planting them, these are from Baker Creek Heirlooms, and I've bought from them before, and my experience has been really good with their seeds. So these are brown sugar. I don't know if they're affiliated with the Rolling Stones, but I assume not. But we'll see how they grow this year. We've never grown them before. Like I've said on previous times, I only grow the heirloom, and that's so I can save the seeds from them. So these are an heirloom variety called brown sugar, and we're going to put 3 of those there and run up that trellis, and then we save the face of the bed for pimento peppers, which I showed you how I planted those in another video also. So The peppers are not quite ready, but the tomatoes are, so we're putting out tomatoes. One last view on the tomatoes getting planted. These are buttermilk bug tussle. I believe that's right. Brown sugar, and then Belgian or Belgiums there and there. So that ought to be plenty of tomatoes for 2 people, and I bet we feed half the neighborhood with those if they do good. All right, that's all I got today on tomato planting. We've come a long way since we were planting seeds in that little air garden hydroponic starter. This is a big day in the tomato world. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you would, take a second to hit the subscribe button for us. It helps us a lot. I appreciate it.